All right, so this one is another one that's going to be off the cuff, unscripted, just me sitting here talking and bullshitting. I'm kind of bored right now. I need to talk to somebody, and it seems to be I'm the only one up on a Monday night talking, so I'm going to talk to myself and invite you all to join me. So, the only topic I can really come up with right now off the top of my head is the difference between how it is for an atheist to live and how it is for a theist, or more specifically a Christian, to live. It's and the reason I bring this up is here recently was Easter, and family comes in all the time for Easter. It's a family get together. It's a family gathering. But we all know the whole Christian ideology behind it, which is inaccurate. It's a fertility thing. But the point I'm making right now is when we were in, we're all sitting there talking, and me and my family. My family is very, very pious, very religious, and it's easy for them to sit there and talk to each other. Oh, well, God did this, and this blessing was answered, and thank God for this, and God took this person's life. But when I ask for people to watch a certain episode on CNN about how it is for the life of an atheist, not a single one of my family was willing to even give it a chance. I mean, to the point where I have sat and watched things like God is Not Dead and some other religious movies, and all I wanted was one thing to show out my side. It wasn't. You can look it up. It was on CNN. It's called In the Life of an Atheist. It wasn't a I'm trying to convert you kind of thing. I mean, obviously, most of you know that are listening, atheists aren't out to convert. This was more of a I want my family to see how it is as an atheist, especially coming out in such a religious family. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. I have friends that have been atheists their whole life. They've grown up in non-theist, non-believer families, and they don't understand why I am so up in arms, why I get so defensive when it comes to atheism. And this kind of this put it into perspective. It was a very, very short thing. The ones they had me watched were 90 minutes long. This was a 1 hour special without commercials, 45 minutes CNN. And they couldn't even watch the first, 5 minutes of it. I mean, they completely shut it down. And my mother kind of got upset, and it's like, well, it's easy for all you guys, and I see this out in public even. It's easy. It's extremely easy for somebody to sit and talk about Christianity. What church did you go? What church do you go to? What sect are you? Catholic or Baptist or Mormon or? I know in some other regions of America, it's, well, are you Islam or are you Buddhist? But all of those religions, it seems to be as long as you have a religion, as long as you believe in a God, as long as you believe in something after, then it's okay. I even went as far as going to the Baha'i religion, which, if you look up, is very, very, very small sect that is more recent. Kind of, for me, it showed me that a lot of religions are the same, and the Baha'i religion is what kind of got me looking into other religions and seeing the similarities. But the point I'm trying to make is, and I told my mother this, it's easy, it's so easy just to talk about God and not think twice about it. But the minute I raise a question about, say, evolution, it's completely thrown out, it's shut down right away. And that's a problem. Why do we live in a society where knowledge and information is so free and so open and so easily accessible that if we want to talk about it, if it goes even the slightest bit against religion, it's immediately shut down? That's a huge problem. And growing up, coming from the theistic side, I was Christian. I did know friends who were atheists, and I didn't shut them down. We kind of debated back and forth, which is good. You need to debate. You need to compare facts, quote unquote facts, and ideals and doctrines. But when you're instantly shut down because one little thing goes against religion, it's kind of disheartening. And I hate to admit, but out of everyone in my immediate, not even immediate, extended family is theistic in some kind of way. Mostly Christian, but mostly theistic. All theistic. It's frustrating to have all of these facts about the different parts of evolution, the discoveries we're having in science, the things that can make this life, the one that we are positive about, better. It's instantly shut down because it goes against the Bible. And I understand there's colleges in the theistic side that teach, well, evolution is true to a certain extent, but God put it into motion. But that's not even where a lot of people I know, my relatives, are coming from. It's strictly, if you believe anything outside of the Bible, you're wrong. You're going to hell. And it's sad. There was a time where I did try to meld the two together. Evolution, paleontology, archaeology with religion. But the further I got, the more it was like, it kind of disproves the Bible. And I think that is the major problem with a lot of my family, is it does disprove. And there's certain people, and I'm not going to mention a name or names, that say, well, there's parts of the Bible that were written by man and it's not really accurate. We don't believe in this part. We believe in this part, but not this part. And it's like, well, I'm pretty sure as many times as I've studied and read the Bible, I know for a fact it says that you are not to change the word of God at all. And everything was breathed by Yahweh. So to say that there's certain parts that were written by man and were polluted by fallible humans is kind of like ridiculous, especially when it comes to the parts that you want to believe or you don't want to believe. And the people I'm talking about in particular, comes to a gay community thing, and they have gay family members. And I asked them about it. Well, how do you justify the parts of the Bible that strictly denounce homosexuality? And that's the part for them that's written by man, or the part that says the woman is to be quiet and not to say anything in public and to go back and ask her husband in private. And it's segregation. It was written by man. It was in man's time. I get that. That's the problem. I do get that. The only difference is I get the fact that the whole biblical doctrine was written in a completely different era. It doesn't apply anymore. Slavery doesn't apply anymore. The Bible talks to no end about slavery, what slaves you can sell, what slaves you can't sell, for how much, which one's more, which one's less. And that was for that time. But now we're in a new era. There's new morals, and they can't accept that. So they justify it by saying, well, man is fallible. So when they were writing the Bible, they added parts. Now, here's my problem with that. How do you know? How can you tell me which parts were written by man and which parts were written by Yahweh? You can't do it. There's not a part in the Bible. I guarantee it. You can read it cover to cover. There's not one part in the Bible that says, well, this law is good for this time, but not for eternity or the end of days even. So we get to another problem when it's like, well, okay, well, what about morals? What about evil? All right, we'll get into that right now. The problem with evil: an omniscient God is supposedly created everything, which by default created evil. So you got these Christians saying, well, that was a fallen man, or the devil, Satan, whatever, Beelzebub. He, she, it is the reason that there is evil. But go back a little further. If God's omniscient, omnipotent, then he knows what's going to happen. So why write a doctrine? Why write a Bible that's only relevant to one era? And most of it is immoral now. Like I said, slavery, misogyny, murder, and my mother had a very good, quote unquote good, because I don't have my camera going, quote unquote good argument for that one. And she says, well, man creates evil, or men are evil, men as a species. men, women, the human species are evil. So how do you justify God rewarding the people that killed multitudes of babies and women and innocent animals? It really doesn't make sense. I mean, back then, yes, it did make sense. We did sacrifices. We did. Slavery was a norm back then, but it's not now. So every time we move a little bit further and a little bit further, the Bible gets evolved a little bit more. And the most obvious at this point in time would be the gay community. Family members talking about how, well, it meant back then. And a big argument I hear is we don't hold to the Old Testament, but I don't have the Bible verse right now with me, but it's kind of like, well, I'm pretty sure that Christ himself said we are not to change any of the old laws one iota. And that's just a quote. I did not come to change the laws one iota. So how can you sit there and be like, well, we don't go by the Old Testament, but Christ himself said I didn't come to change it? Because of one simple fact. Because Christ himself said, some of you, talking to his disciples, says, some of you standing here will not taste death before I come back. Well, guess what? It's roughly 2,000 years later. Many generations have come and gone. The old laws don't hold up anymore. They are immoral. So how do you rectify this? Case in point, family. Well, there are certain parts that were written by men. It was kind of polluted, whatever. It's tap dancing, and Christians do it so much with tap dancing. We get into we'll get into the Noah story, because that one really bothers me. It's so disprovable. We have fossil records that disprove any global flood, but yet people still hold on to that. I can't wrap my mind around that. So it's just, people say the Bible doesn't evolve. Nothing changes. God is perfect. But I've seen in my own lifetime several parts of the Bible evolved, changed, because of what is going on in society at the moment. That is one of the big reasons for me, my own personal experience. That is one of the reasons that I think the Bible is a crock of shit. Because it's constantly changing in people's minds, but when you point things out, it's, oh, well, man's bad, or man wrote it and we're fallible human beings. Yes, we are. But does that prove the Bible? No, it disproves the Bible. Completely disproves it. There is good parts of the Bible, but at the same time, there's good parts of philosophy. Back from Plato, back from Socrates. There's good parts of everything. There's bad parts of everything. The problem I have is when people use religion as a catalyst to make things happen. And people say, well, you're an atheist, so is Hitler. Incorrect. Hitler was a Catholic. If anybody has a qualm with this, let me know. I will give you exactly what references I can give you that he speaks strongly for religion and the cleansing of race and whatever, which is it's in debate. I can't. None of us. It's kind of like the Bible. None of us can sit here and say, "Well, he believes this or he thought that." We have what was written. We have what he said. We have quotes. Same with the Bible. We have what was written back then. The only problem with the Bible that isn't so much with Stalin and Hitler and Napoleon is the Bible is the only source that talks about anything to do with Christianity. Dead Sea Scrolls left out. But all of the quote-unquote miracles that were talked about in the Bible, why is it that only the Christian population are the ones who've seen and recorded this? The Roman Empire was huge. They wrote, they were a very big, integral part of history. And not a single one of them talked about Jesus and Nazareth. None of them talked about God, the miracles, Mary, Joseph. None of that. The Bible does. And when you ask about this, it's, well, the Romans are the one that killed Jesus. How fucking convenient. I could sit there and do that with, let's go ahead and do the Jim Morrison, The Doors. I could say, well, Jim Morrison came to me and said that rock and roll is really God. And everything in the lyrics is the breathed word of God. Prove me wrong. And that's how Christians do. But that's where science comes in, and that's why religion has a problem with science. But they're not asshats like Ray Comfort or Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz. And I take that back. Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, they're in it for the politics. It's completely different. But when you're getting into people like Ray Comfort and Ken Ham, it's kind of like, well, you're tap dancing again. It goes back to the tap dancing. And I am reaching my point to where I'm getting tired and about to go to bed. So hopefully here soon I can have a more scripted, more detailed account on what's going on. But right now, I just needed to get something off my chest for you guys. Let you know I'm still alive. Father to the Son and the Flying Spaghetti Monster are still going. We're just having extreme technical difficulties right now. So if you could, just give us a comment, give us a like below. Let us know what you think. If you have any objections, I am more than happy. I'm not going to sit there and jump down your throat. I'm not going to, ostracize you, assault you, verbally assault you. I'm trying as a human to find the ultimate truth. And science. It's not even just science. It's science. It's philosophy. It's mathematics. It's everything other than religion. Religion is the only one that holds by the doctrines, and I can't. If there was one piece of information one school of, let's say, even science, if there was one school of science, let's go ahead and say astronomy. Let's say there's astronomy, which we'll go back to Copernican times. We don't know because we don't have the technology for it, but there's people saying, well, this is a possibility. And people like Copernicus and Galileo, who are getting thrown in jail and death threats and whatnot for hearsay. There's more than just one school of thought. There's many, 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 and they all, as far as I can see, unless one of you guys can prove me wrong, please do. But there's many, many, many schools of thought that in one way or many ways disprove religion. Not even religion, but Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity, all of the many, many sects of Christianity, Catholicism, Baptist, Mormonism, the list goes on and on and on. But it all goes against everything that we can prove. So wouldn't it be, if religion was true, that it would fit like a puzzle piece with all of the other schools of thought? Just a thought. Let me know what you guys think and get back to me. This is the Father signing off. Flying Spaghetti Monster bless.